What's up, y'all? That is a tune called Joe Bane's. At least, we think that's what it's called. We've been playing it with a song called Heavens Know, an original song, and we've been playing it pretty regularly, and we worked that Barndance into it. I even just now tried to play it into TunePal. Yeah, there we go, that's us playing. And I couldn't find the name. I found that old video of ours, and somehow one of us had come up with that name for it, so I'm going to assume that's right, but don't quote me on it. Now, of course, you can play this tune on the whistle, no problem. You can play it on a keyless flute, no problem. I will demonstrate a little bit about where I use the keys in some spots, but don't let that worry you. It's certainly not a requirement. The tune's in G, so it fits perfectly well. Let's break down the basic melody, starting as always with the A part. So jumping up to that top octave. Second section here. So really just that last note, that's the only part that's different. So the phrase ends on the A as opposed to going back to the G. Otherwise, it's a repeat. Third section has some slight differences to it. So it's got that little arpeggio thing at the end. Right? So here's the whole third section again. And then to finish. Again. I'll run the whole A part all the way through, just see if you can, hang with it. Cool. B part, similar, it's a fairly repetitive tune, but jumps up high. I'll do that again because it's got a bit of an interesting rhythm to it. It kind of hangs on a couple of notes. Second section. The end of that phrase, of course, finishes the same way the second section does in the A part. But third section jumps all the way back up. Then to finish, should be fairly simple to how we finish the A part. Now let's play the whole B part, again, all the way through, see how you do. Cool? Let's talk some ornaments. When I'm jumping up to that top octave, I pretty much will always cut that note. On the flute anyway, that big jump tends to be very harsh, very strong. Cutting that, to my ear anyway, it sort of translates some of that harshness into an ornament, I think. See what you think. So I'm cutting that first note. And sometimes I'll do that, that finger bounce thing where I land, like in this case I'm landing on an E. As I land, it's sort of popping that F sharp finger off. So not much there except a slide. So in this case I'm using a key, I'm using that B flat key. One of the advantages of having a keyed flute is that it does make some of those moves a little bit simpler, a little bit more accessible. So if you've got it, I would say use it. If not, a slide will work just as well. So here we go. Just a tap to finish that phrase. Then same movement again to make that big octave jump from the low G to the high G. I'll cut that as well. Same move there, sliding from the A to the B. And then I'll cut to come back to the A. Sort of an optional thing, not really necessary, but has a nice little effect. So to that little turnaround phrase to go from the second section to the third section, simple B, C natural, D walk up, but because the physics of the instrument, you can sort of get a free grace note of it by way of that little crossing noise. So as you're going from B to C natural, if you kind of drag it out just a little bit to give a little bit of an extra boost. Then, if you're really feeling so inclined, you can put a crayon on that D. Or at least a half a crayon. Really, I'm just doing these bottom two fingers. Just these two here. So it's not a full crayon on that high D, but sort of a more of a shorter, abbreviated, embellished one. Same little slides that I would do on that part that I demonstrated before. Sliding up to that top G. You could also cut that, or do a short roll like that, or a combination of the two, a cut and a slide. Mix it up, see what works. To finish, you could keep it nice and simple like that, just a little slide again, A to B, or if you really wanted to go crazy, you could start with a full crayon and then a short roll there, which is to finish as a crossing noise on the G, or really sort of a tap, I guess. So finishing it up with just a simple tap again. Now the B part, because it does go up high, I kind of like to do a triplet to get there. You could just jump right into it. Jump right into that phrase if you wanted to, but I kind of like rolling it up, so we're finishing on the G from the A part. So I'm tripleting B, C natural, D, and then jumping to that G. Cool little rhythmic effect, I think. Tap on the G. Same popping bonus little cut there. Same one I demonstrated before. Just a simple roll, long roll, full roll on the E. And then cutting the G again. Like I mentioned before, every time I do a jump up to that G, I do like to cut it. I think it sort of makes that harshness seem a little bit more intentional that way. Nice and simple to finish it, then doing that triplet back up. Then to finish, same as we did before. That's what I do with this tune. Barn dances like this, particularly when they're played at a fairly mellow tempo, as I think they kind of should be, can get easily overwhelmed with ornaments. You probably don't need to do too much with this one. Hopefully just mixing in a couple of those little rhythmic accents and some more subtle things makes this tune really sing, I think. I like it. It's not a particularly common one, as evidenced by the fact that it's seemingly impossible to find the name of it. Hopefully I got it right. We'll see. Let me know if that's not the case. Otherwise, I will see y'all in the next one. Cheers, guys.